Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly Stevens, and this is Carly Stevens Books for all things writing, publishing, and indie author life. Today, I want to talk about The Screaming Staircase, the first book in the Lockwood Co series by Jonathan Stroud, one of my all-time favorite series. It is a middle grade horror quintet about a ghost hunting agency during a ghost epidemic in London. It is utterly charming. It got a season or two of a Netflix show. Not enough is the correct answer. I had the privilege of meeting Jonathan Stroud this year earlier, and I've done a couple of videos on just how incredible this series is. It's very well written, and it deserves all the accolades that it's gotten. So even though it's not a new release, it came out in this one came out in 2013. I'm going to talk about how he did it, specifically by analyzing the first page or so. My background, as most of you know if you've been around the channel, is in English teaching. I was a high school English teacher for over 10 years, and so I'm used to analyzing literature, and now I'm transposing some of those skills that I've honed over many years of doing that, analyzing the classics and such, to deconstruct, when I want to, the works of contemporary writers, doing things that are not literary, but doing what they do exceptionally well. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at Lockwood Co, The Screaming Staircase. Okay, here we go, Lockwood Co. Yes, my copy is signed with a little skull. I love it so much. All right, let's look at the very beginning of this story. So, chapter 1, of the first few hauntings I investigated with Lockwood Co, I intend to say little, in part to protect the identity of the victims, in part because of the gruesome nature of the incidents, but mainly because, in a variety of ingenious ways, we succeeded in messing them all up. Now, this is a bold opening for a middle grade book. The general wisdom you'd think would be to grab the attention with something a bit shorter. This one begins with an almost Sherlock Holmesian style sentence that is a bit loftier than the more fast-moving contemporary works of the moment. What works really well with this, however, are a couple of things I want to point out. So we have a style that does not talk down to the readers. I didn't like it when I could detect that kind of talking down nature of a book when I was reading things at 11 or 12. So too, this definitely assumes a certain level of intelligence of its readers, and I think that that is appealing to the right group of readers. So we have that. We also have these tantalizing little hints that there's the gruesome nature of the incidents. They succeeded in messing them all up. That last phrase there, messing them all up, takes down that formal kind of Watson-esque nature of the sentence and turns it into something that is more approachable, more informal, more like somebody just talking to you. So it's a mixture of these formal notes on these gruesome cases and more of a friend telling you about this. So that's the beginning there. I've admitted it. Not a single one of those early cases ended as neatly as we would have wished. Yes, the Mortlake horror was driven out, but only as far as Richmond Park, where even now it stalks by night among the silent trees. Yes, both the Grey Spectre of Aldgate and the entity known as the Clattering Bones were destroyed, but not before several further, and I now think unnecessary, deaths. So we have yet more hints that we're going to get all of these really gruesome, creepy ghost hunting and ghoul hunting cases, which is true throughout the entire series of Lockwood & Co. It would have scared me as a small kid. Coming at it as an adult, I loved the creepiness of it, but this gives the opportunity for the more sensitive readers to turn away, and for the ones who love that thrill and that creepiness to lean in and go, what is the Mortlake horror? What is the clattering bones? And we know that this is going to be fairly morbid and intense as well, because people lost their lives in trying to get rid of these spooks. And as for the creeping shadow that haunted young Mrs. Andrews, to the imperilment of her sanity and her hemline, wherever she may continue to wander in this world, poor thing, there it follows too. So it was not exactly an unblemished record that we took with us, Lockwood and I, when we walked up the path to 62 Sheen Road on that misty autumn afternoon and briskly rang the bell. So we start with these general notes about how things have not gone super smoothly with this ghost hunting agency, and then we narrow in. It's almost like a wide shot to a close shot of the current ghost hunting situation. We stood on the doorstep with our backs to the muffled traffic, and Lockwood's gloved right hand clasped upon the bell pull. Deep in the house, the echoes faded. I gazed at the door, at the small sun blisters on the varnish and the scuffs on the letterbox, at the 4 diamond panes of frosted glass that showed nothing beyond, except for darkness. The porch had a forlorn and unused air, its corners choked with the same sodden beech leaves that littered the path and lawn. Okay, this is beautiful description. It is on the descriptive side, of course. Some people don't like this much description, especially younger readers. I, as a younger reader, would have eaten this up because of how much very distinct imagery there is. We have all of this detail as well. So we get Lockwood's gloved right hand, which is just a lovely detail. We can picture it very clearly. We have the small sun blisters on the varnish and scuffs on the letterbox, which are these delicious visual images that we have, the panes of the frosted glass. It really puts us exactly into the middle of the action with Lockwood and the, as of now, unnamed narrator, who turns out to be Lucy Carlyle, who's just a delight and a half. All right, I'm going to go a little bit further because we need to get into some of the dialogue. It contrasts a bit with the high level of vocabulary and sentence structure and all of that of the previous page or so, but I think that's part of the appeal. We have this Sherlock Holmes-like, very dangerous, very spooky ghost hunting operation, but it is run by children, essentially, or young teenagers. Okay, I said, remember our new rules. Don't blab about everything you see. So all of a sudden we get a switch in word choice. So diction is another word for word choice when you're trying to describe it. So we have this sort of high diction here. We have sodden beech leaves, forlorn. We have some of these slightly old-timey, higher, loftier, Englishy sounding words. Englishy in the sense of being set in England. And then we have don't blab about everything you see, and that's more just like somebody talking to somebody else, and it's not the same level of pretentiousness or anything like that. We have real characters here. Don't blab about everything you see. Don't speculate openly about who killed who, how, or when, and above all, don't impersonate the client. Please, it never goes well. It's an awful lot of don'ts, Lucy, Lockwood said. I've plenty more. I have an excellent ear for accents. I copy people without thinking. Fine, copy them quietly after the event, not loudly, not in front of them, and particularly not when they are a 6'6" Irish dock worker with a speech impediment, and we are a good half-mile from the public road. Yes, he really was quite nimble for his size, Lockwood said. Still, the chase kept us fit. Okay, so I love this introduction that we get to the characters. We start off with an introduction to the situation, the ghosts, and the fact that we're going to be ghost hunting in this dangerous English setting, right? But when we meet Lucy and Lockwood, we see that they have this kind of brother-sister bantery relationship. We see that Lucy is very responsible and trying to keep things under control. We see that Lockwood is unfazed by most things. We get the sense that it's not just going to be creepy, but it's going to be fun because we like being with these people. Something else, the final thing I want to point out about this entire first page or so, page and a half, is that there is a lot of subtext. If you've watched some of my other videos in this series about how did they do that, I looked at the first page of Fourth Wing, I looked at the first page of Akatar, I looked at these variety of first pages, and all of them have these world building details that are woven in. All of them have some subtext and questions that arise because of what is stated in the first page. It makes you want to turn the page and learn a bit more. Like, what is the deal with the clattering bones on the first page? Why does Lucy feel the need to tell Lockwood not to speculate about who killed who and how or when? So all of these inherent baked-in questions, because there is not only text, but what's happening between the lines, beneath the lines, subtext, right? It makes us want to turn the page, and it gives the story some initial momentum. We know they're going to be ghost hunting in this first scene, but there's more than that that we want to know more about. So there you have it, the very beginning of The Screaming Staircase by Jonathan Stroud. I hope that was helpful for you. I adore this book, this series, even the show was spot on. I thought it got the vibe across. It deserved another season, but you know, it's not really up to me exactly. I have a set of special editions heading my way in about a month, and I am so excited. I normally don't spring for special editions, but this series is something truly special. So yeah, if you want something spooky and fun to read this season, I would highly recommend The Screaming Staircase and the rest of the Lockwood Co books. If you haven't read them before, even if you are an adult like me coming at them for the first time. All right, if you liked this video, make sure to like it. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.